Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you happen to be watching this. Welcome back to the channel and welcome along to a brand new video. Today we're going to be previewing the SIL divisions for the upcoming season. There's been a lot of changes that have recently happened in the SIL. Leagues being changed around, new clubs entering, old leagues folding and new leagues forming, whatever the case may be. What we're going to be doing is breaking down each division and showing you who's in what leagues and what everything is all about. So yeah, let's start off with the senior division and show you what is happening in the SIL. So if we start off with the senior division, what you'll see is that the clubs in black are the ones who are already existing members of that particular division. And as we go through the divisions, you'll see different colours associated with different clubs. So on the left hand side and on the right, you can see that Bilderston and Old Newton, who have just got promoted, are in green. So no changes to the league format. There's still going to be 16 teams in the division. But as I said, the two teams that have recently been promoted of Bilderston and Old Newton are in the division. So good luck to those guys. No other changes on the SIL senior division. Let's drop down to Division 1. So if we have a look at the senior division, you will see that Southwold and Halesworth were the teams that got promoted from Division 2 last time around. And we've also got Grunsborough and Wen Hastings in the division as well, having been relegated from the senior division. The big thing that is changing this season is that the division has gone from being a 13-team division and is now a 14-team division. So only Saxmundham Sports got relegated. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, Mendlesham are still there. There was a two-horse race between them and Coddenham to go down, but both teams have been able to survive due to the league being reformatted. So that's a big call. Mendlesham are staying in the division. As I said, it's going from a 13 team to a 14 team, which is absolutely fantastic. Halesworth and Southwold are going to provide much needed competition in this division. This is going to be so unbelievably close this time around. Anyone can, I honestly think anyone can win it. My dark horse is a Wickham Market, but we'll leave that for another day. But yeah, two teams up, two teams down, and Mendlesham survive, make this a 14-team format. So if we go to Division 2, you can now see that, as I said, Saxmundham Sports are the only team that have been relegated into Division 2. And again, this division is changing from a 13-team format into a 14-team. So Kesgrave and Ipswich Valley Rangers got relegated, which as a result meant that a grand total of 5 teams were promoted from Division 3. We had Bedricksworth, who won the division and only lost 2 games the entire season, absolutely blitzed League 3, or Division 3 rather, and are promoted. And then we've got in position order was Tattingstone United, Ufford Sports, Thurston and Wolferston United, who have all been promoted as well. Witness and Wasp missed out by 1 point on promotion to this division, but it's going to be very, very competitive again. Somersham surviving, Tackett Street, BOB have survived as well. It's going to be a very, very competitive division. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not Bedricksworth can continue the form that they had last season. But again, this goes from 13 teams to 14 teams, so 1 extra team has been allocated a spot into here. And yeah, it's fascinating to have that many clubs going up and being promoted. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the likes of Thurston and Wolferston, etc. can compete in this division, because they finished on around about the 30-point mark. So they weren't fantastic in Division 3, but it'll be very interesting, and I hope they're very, very competitive and make it a good division this season. So Division 3 is where things really start to ramp up. As I said, we have Ipswich Valley Rangers and Kesgrave Kestrels being relegated into the division. We have 3 teams coming up from Division 4, which are Hope Church, Witton United and Ockhold in there. But you'll see in blue we have 4 new teams. They have all, from what I know and what I've been able to gather, and if someone can correct me in this if I am wrong, we've got teams coming over from the Bury League, which has recently folded. So we've got Burytown Rams, Melton United, Stage and also Walton Wanderers. Very, very interesting to see those teams in action. Division 3 is going to be very hotly contested. I know that Elmswell are a club I've covered a couple of times, and they thought last year that they were going to do quite well, ended up finishing in 8th, etc. But it's going to be very tight. It's always interesting when you have teams coming over from other divisions. Obviously, they have to start in the lower parts of it. We saw last season Bedricksworth absolutely blitzed Division 3. Can it happen again with any of these guys? Or can the likes of Hope Church, who were promoted from Division 4, can somebody like that spring a surprise? It's very, very interesting to see. But we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams sticking around from Division 3 of last year. And again, with this one, it's going from 11 teams up to 14 teams. So we've had 3 extra teams in this division. It's going to be very, very interesting. Division 4 is where things get very interesting. We can see a lot of teams in blue on here, a lot of new teams into this format. Effectively, what I can gather from Division 4 is that depending on your status as a club, whether or not you're a reserve or an A team, whether or not you are a proper team, if you're a proper team in all sense of the words, I'm not diminishing reserves and A leagues, but if you are a team that's not a reserve or an A team, you get promoted to Division 3. And if you are a reserve or an A team, you make your way up the pyramids into League C, B and A, depending on obviously where you get promoted to. So we've got a lot of teams in here, but no, we've all got reserves and A teams. So it's going to be very interesting to see if you do get relegated from Division 3, do you go into here? Does one of these teams replace you? Who can replace you? What happens with that? It'll be very interesting to see, because I can imagine you'd probably just go up to League C as a result of this. But what is crucial is that we have the likes of, you've got the likes of Stowmarket in here now, Needham Market B team have got there, Coddenham and Bilderson Rangers, who have been, they've been talking to me a lot last season about how they wanted a reserve team. They've both finally got a reserve team, which is great to see, which will help build the profile of all of those clubs. Leiston have got a team in here as well. Walsham and Willows have got another team in here. It's really, really good for the SIL and a very, very competitive division. This is going to be fascinating to see. And then as a result of the reshuffle in Division 4, you can see here that we've had 5 teams promoted up to League C. They are Bacton United A, Claydon A, Elmswell Reserves, Old Newton United A and Saxmundham Reserves. Very competitive. We've then got Needham Markets A team in here, Walsham and Willows A team in here, and a whole host of other A team and reserve teams. It's very, very competitive at this division, but again, 5 new teams coming into it. That is going to cause a lot of uncertainty, and for the division, it's going to cause a whole host of upheaval. We've seen it in higher divisions where a whole cluster of teams comes in and you don't quite know how people are going to perform and what kind of level they're going to be at. This is going to be very interesting indeed. League B, we've had 2 relegations into the division, and again, it's now gone from an 11-team format into a 13-team. So we've got some very good teams in here. The Sporting A7A team, the East Copplestonians A teams, and a lot of reserve team format. As there are 2 relegations, when Hastings and Henley. Not a huge amount to kind of talk about in this division, but as we go into League A, we've got 4 promotions from the B League. And this is going to be very, very competitive in terms of a reserve team. Obviously, the defending champions, Trimley Red Devils Reserves, who won League A last season, are there. Got Copplestonians Reserves, who finished in 2nd place as well. Had the 2 relegations, but 4 promotions into the division. It's gone, again, from a 13-team format into a 14-team. So it's going to be very, very competitive down at the bottom. So that is a very brief summary of what is going to be happening within the SIL this season. Basically, the long and short of it is that there are more teams coming into the SIL, which is fantastic. The leagues are expanding, which can only mean a good thing. We've got more teams competing in, especially at Division 1, moving all the way downwards, and we've got new teams coming over from the Bury and District League, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Obviously not from the Bury's perspective, obviously they would have liked to keep the league going, but these teams have now got a home and they're in the SIL, and you're going to love it here, guys. You really are. The SIL is a fantastic division and a fantastic competition, a way of playing football. It's brilliant standard of football. You're going to enjoy it, and long may this continue. More teams coming in, which is fantastic. This is what we want. We want it to be more competitive. I couldn't be happy, and I know you guys aren't, happy as well. If you play for any of these teams, or you do know any changes that I haven't mentioned in the video, please leave it down in the comment section below. Who are you most looking forward to seeing? What team are you playing for? What are your kind of expectations for the upcoming season? Let me know down in the comment section below. But thank you very much for taking the time to watch the video. Make sure you hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And as always, until we see each other next time on the channel, adios.